movie, they take taxes.
Oh, they take by force.
They take by force. Nobody pays taxes. The government takes taxes.
Okay.
Number two, to your question on whether or not I pay taxes.
Yes.
They have taken so much of my taxes that now I feel that they should start refunding.
Yes.
But to the core business of the day as to why people are not enthusiastic in paying taxes.
Yes.
It is because sometimes the whole idea of taxation and what the taxes do for Mwananchi is actually a turn-off. And that, I think that's something that one of the panelists alluded to.
Yes.
That some of the people who are actually on the front line advocating for compliance in terms of taxation
yes.
are people whose businesses and enterprises not pay taxes. And you know them because we are Kenyans. Every Kenyan will tell you that. Najua nani, anajuana na nani. Number two, the people, the KRA itself,
yes.
if you visit any village in this country,
yes.
the richest people are KRA people.
Okay.
What that means is, one, the kind of life they live is not commensurate with the kind of packages or salaries they get.
Okay.
It means that they acquire their money through other dubious methods. Number two, these are the guys who always drive around with very sleek cars. It tells you that they also don't pay taxes on those on assets that they own. And finally, yesterday I found myself in a court of a traffic issue.
Yes.
And one of the accused, guy who was facing some charges there, stood and said that the investigating officer who was handling his case is one of those guys who are shot in Nairobi. Okay. And he asked the magistrate, now, how do you expect the report and the kind of evidence that has been given by that dead cop to really hold any water here? Same case applies to our KRA. KRA has been known to be one of the most corrupt institutions in this country. Okay. How do you expect them now to preach about compliance and the need for citizens to pay taxes? That's all I have to say, moving.
All right, thank you very much, Joshua from Kirinyaga. Where Joshua mekasirika. So before we answer Joshua, Judith, how hard is it to get to people like Joshua to ask them to pay taxes?
I think we have already had Joshua, and he has where he's coming from. Of course, I wouldn't want to fight for KRA staff, but I think we need to look at corruption globally or nationally. Because corruption is not just KRA. If a KRA officer is taking money, he's taking from who?
From us.
So this Mukora and another Mukora has targeted to actually kill the nation. I would tell Joshua and others like him to report such cases. Because you can't be a neighbor to a person that you're saying is the richest. And you can clearly tell the salary is not commensurate to the kind of life that he's living. In KRA, we have what we call whistleblower. That is open for both taxpayers who would want to report maybe a competitor who seems not to be paying taxes, and you know them. I like what he said. He said he knows them. He knows them. Let's not leave this job to KRA alone, and we sit back and say KRA is not working. It is a calling for all of us. It's like a Nyumba Kumi initiative.
Yes.
You watch over each other. If you find there is any person who is defrauding, you report. And actually, KRA does give some token or a reward for such, yes.
Really?
Yeah, so just blow the whistle, we'll go get the money. You realize KRA and even the number of staff is not as big to cover the whole nation. And that is the reason why we have resorted to third-party data. Because third-party data will just sit in our offices and we are able to reconcile and counter-check data here and there and be able to come and get that person. For example, the person in Gekoba with this huge business, we will get that person from the imports that come. You will also get that person from other means, not necessarily going to Gekoba looking for the person and only finding a few mitubas in his shop. So there are other ways of getting the people, but what I'm saying is that this job is not just for KRA alone. I think every Kenyan must be patriotic.
We have Sami on the line as well. Sami, good morning.
Yes, morning, please.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine. How about you?
Mimi niko salama kabisa. What is your question or comment?
Yes, what I would like to say to those gentlemen and ladies is that people are actually paying taxes, but the problem here is that the amount of taxes that they impose on people is unbearable, and also the much smaller that they could have collected. They cannot actually get all the taxes. There are some loopholes. Some of these guys who go on collecting taxes, they also pocket some of the taxes that they get from people. So I think the problem here is that they should adjust the amount. Not too much. Make sure that you collect from many people as opposed to few people. They keep on talking about the top people. Right. Let us all be together. Let us pay the little that we can so that 10 million or 20 million people can pay. But not this question of collecting from very few people because you are overtaxing them, and also loophole that some of these taxpayers, they give bribes to those people collect, because in case of I'm supposed to pay 5,000 and I tell them I can pay 1,000, they take that 1,000. So I think they should fill all these loopholes. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sammy. We also have William on the line. William, good morning.
Oh, morning to you, sir.
I'm quite fine, thank you. What is your question or comment?
Oh, mimi ni usaidizi tu nataka.
Okay.
Nafanya kazi Gato Road Center.
Kazi ya?
Mimi ni kama watchman.
Okay, watchman, yes.
Na nimefanya miaka 15.
All right.
Toka 2004.
Okay.
Sasa nimeona NSSF statement. Wale wameandikwa 2017. Pesa yao yote imewekwa.
Okay.
Na yangu mshahara unakatwa lakini hawatumi kule.
Okay.
Sasa ningetaka usaidizi wenu tafadhali.
Aya, sawa, William, asanti. I think that's an SSF issue. Probably, Patrick, would you know anything about that?
It's just a question of awareness. There's a lot of non-remittance issues around, by the way. A lot of employers
they collect NSSF, but how in
remittances. And by the time you realize you're already retired. So I think generally, and that's also in tax, the tax education is really low. Let me say it doesn't exist.
Okay.
KRA, being a government arm, has the muscle and resources, should make tax education just like ugali. I don't think a lot of people are failing to pay taxes because they don't know. I mean, they know. A lot of them don't know that they could pay very little tax. There's this fear that if I expose myself to KRA, they'll come and investigate.
Take everything.
Me. And there's nothing to investigate. If you come into my office to investigate, all the files are there.
Yes.
There's nothing in them. So the question is not that the person refuses a lot more of people are sitting in what I call the illiteracy of tax, illiteracy of issues of remittance, of NSF, and the impact on them. Okay. Because, for example, if this guy had gone to NSF and there was a reporting mechanism, NSF are the first ones to find out, why aren't you remitting?
Yeah.
But if NSF are on their laurels, they aren't asking, why aren't you remitting?
Yeah.
Then everyone is at loss.
All right.
And that happens a lot.
All right, we have a Marcel on the line as well from Runda. Marcel, good morning.
Good morning, Bubi.
Vipi bana, niambie.
Salama sana.
What is your question or comment?
First of all, hi to your guest.
Wamesalimika.
My thought is, my comment is, you know, for me, basically, I pay taxes.
Yes.
And, you know, these taxes that we are paying,
yes,
they are the ones which are used for corruption. They are the ones which are used to buy aflatoxin. And and we are still waiting for the DBI report, and we'll know that we are going to pay more. So the secret behind corruption and to get rid of it is to fire every company.
Okay.
That's the source of facilitating corruptors.
Okay. All right. Marcel amesema yake alafu akaenda. So let me start with you, Ben. What Marcel has said in regards to, you know, we are being taxed too much and there's so much corruption. What is your take on that corruption issue? Because corruption has been said by, I think, all the callers here.
Yeah, I think that it's a really frustrating thing, and I think it speaks more to our Kenyan society than most. Yeah, you work hard to try and get a tender to do it clean, but at the end of the day, there's still something that will come and just haggle at your back. And the problem that now it's even creeping into the private sector, and we're not talking little money; it's a lot of money. It's a really frustrating thing. And I think at the end of the day, I think speaking also to the lack of to ignorance, like people, I don't think people really know what to do when that thing happens to you, because you don't know whether you want to go to the police.
Right.
Because if you go to the police, there might be
another process
again. Yeah. You know. Okay. So it's a really huge challenge. There's a lot of ignorance when it comes to how to deal with corruption. Also, I just wanted to touch base on also the issue of people knowing about tax.
Just hold on to that thought, because we have jamaa kutoka Mubarak, good morning, how are you doing? Mimi niko salama. Kilifi mwambaje?
Kilifi iko sawa tu, kwa kuchangia mada kidogo.
Okay.
Hii corruption hapa Kenya.
Changia tafadhali.
Okay. Nasema hii corruption Kenya haiwezi kupungua kabisa. Sababu wajua pesa za Kenya. Watu wanaiba pesa nyingi, haikulia kesi inaenda hivi pesa inaisha hivyo. Lakini mtu akiiba pesa kidogo,
naam,
atafungwa mwaka kama miaka miwili. Lakini hao wenye kuiba pesa nyingi hawafungwi kabisa.
Asante Mubarak. That's Mubarak from Kilifi. Again, still talking about corruption. We shall address it in a minute, but we have a Zakaria as well. Zakaria, good morning. Zakaria, hello.
Yes, nakupata vizuri sana.
All right. What is your question or comment?
Okay, I was asking about taxes in Kericho. I don't understand whether the county government are collecting taxes and they are referring to the national government, because you can find some other people in the government of county government now. They are collecting taxes, and yet they are not doing the jobs according to the taxes in the counties. Because sometimes you can ask, when people are asking about the development in the county, they are saying now we are waiting for the national government to release the money so that we can start doing the development in the counties. We don't understand about that now, because these are now, they are frustrating people in the counties. Okay. Another thing, you can find now in NHIS, maybe sometime in NHIF you can find people now paying every month, they are paying 500 shillings. And yet when you are reaching to the hospitals, you are being told that you will pay some amount so that the NHIF can function. We don't understand about that now, because we are told that NHIF can function everywhere. That is all my questions. Zakaria kutoka Kericho.
All right, thank you very much, Zakaria kutoka Kericho. You wanted to say something before we answer these guys?
No, yes, I was talking about even the level of ignorance when it comes to even tax. But I think it speaks more also to the education part.
Yes.
One of the biggest challenges that I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs face is that once they get their KRA PIN, most people would register their business and get their KRA PIN, and then maybe it'll take a while before they actually start being operational.
Yes.
I know for me it happened like probably about 6 months. I know for a couple of other guys it took about a year before they're operational. You get your first job, you go, you say, okay, now I'm also going to remit my VAT, and you find you've got a bill of 120,000, you've got a bill of 500,000, and you've not been operational. And somebody comes back and says, but I didn't know that I need to be able to find. And it needs to be something simple as just saying that whenever you get your KRA PIN, you also get like, even nowadays you're digital, even just a link that just educates you on, these are the processes that you need to do. Right. When you look at the UK, even the UK website, YouTube channel, it already starts educating you on what you need to do the moment you've registered for your PIN. And it tells you what you need to do, the processes you need to be able to do on YouTube, or even just on a private email or a pamphlet for people to be able to know that. We need to really reduce that lack of education when it comes to tax. the presumptive tax as well needs to be really educated. There are a lot of guys, I mean, the presumptive
like
tax...
I didn't know about it until today.
Yeah, it's not a lot of money, and it's based on the amount of money you're paying on the county, but people still don't pay it.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Okay.
So there needs to be that level of education that's digging deep, and I think it needs to be... I think we've done a lot of... what is it called, the classes at KRA towers. But it needs to be taken out of there. It needs to be brought into the streets. If I do a business coaching class, I do it on the weekend because I can't afford to do it during the weekday. I'm working. Yeah. But your classes are also on the weekday when I'm working, so I can't attend. Yeah. So it needs to be done maybe on the weekend. People will take time and come, or in the evening, like MBA classes or something like that.
Or even take it to the churches and the mosques.
If possible, But just as an idea of how we can be able to push the education.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I can just add a rejoinder there.
Right.
I think KRA has made it very difficult for people to pay taxes.
Really?
Yes.
I think they've made it super...
And I'll speak to a lot of... I've gone through KRA problems in my life. What you mentioned, where I register a business, and then you don't do business until X time, you go and find yourself the bill of 400,000, and you're like, is your first check?
Yeah.
Or you want to do your first business, and you're going to KRA, you find yourself the bill. That is a game that is something that is so normal. Now, when you have an issue, and you go to KRA, the chances that you will go to the wrong place or being toast, you go there 7 times, you don't have that time. You don't know which office is your office. You know, KRA is not centralized. Yeah. If you walk into this office, they'll tell you, yours is in that place. And you've been going here 4 or 5 times to be told in the 5th time that now you belong to the other
5 days later.
Side. That makes it difficult for people to pay taxes. Okay. When there are issues that will always arise, to taxes, but they need to be resolved faster. I mean, it should make it easier for me to pay taxes. Don't make me look like a thief. Yes. Because not everyone intends to look like a thief.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So, Judith, maybe now we can answer some of those ones that they've mentioned. And then, of course, a lot of corruption has been mentioned. And I know you mentioned the fact that there's a process of whistleblowing and there's a reward if I blow the whistle and so on. Then also, Zakaria asked, the county government that collects taxes, does it pay to KRA? Does it pay to the national government? I think he's trying to understand. Hii pesa ninalipa huku na nalipa huku. Eventually, nani anachukua hii pesa? Yeah.
Okay. Well, I would start with education. Yeah. I would say we are not yet there. If Buvi didn't know about presumptive tax, which has been here since January. Right. And we are taking up. We have taken it up. We have a mobile unit. We call it a bus, but it's an education unit, and we go all over
the counties.
Through the counties. But we have a challenge with the Wajiko, because the moment they see KRA bus, all shops are. So there is the issue of trust. And taking you back, tax is self-assessment. We are in the self-assessment era. So it's like we'll put our shop there, and you come willingly. If you don't come willingly, then that is when we take the stick. Yeah. And you know the stick for taxation is not the best way to go. Of course. So we want to talk. And I would tell the Kenyan who should pay the taxes and those in the informal sector, don't close your shops, don't run away, just listen to us. We want to simply market this cheap presumptive tax, 15% of your license fee. I think some of the license fees I've seen is like 1,500, 1,500. All right. We are talking of 15% of 1,500.
Yeah, that is about 225 shillings.
You waste so much time and lose so much money closing your shop and running away instead of paying the tax. So I keep saying, unless there is something that is not quite right, as he said, why don't you table your books and we'll calculate and see, yes, you don't. You are within this category that should pay presumptive tax, that should pay turnover tax. Right. But the problem, the dishonesty. You want to remain there, pay the lowest of tax or pay nothing, and you decide, let me close my shop anytime KRA comes. Yeah. So Kenyans, don't close your shops. Let Kenya Revenue Authority have a chat with us. Let's educate you. and you'll be able to see that it's the cheapest. Now, the cost of running away, when we get you through any other means, we'll take you back to when you should have started.
Okay.
So the issue of penalties, very high penalties, will come in.
Yes.
There's a penalty for not filing, penalty for not paying, and interests. So those are so heavy you could close shop now properly. So I think it's good to engage. It's unfortunate that you visited Kenya Revenue and maybe were tossed here and there. We have our centers everywhere, even including the Huduma centers. We have our presence. And I would tell every Kenyan to visit our Huduma centers, our KRA counters at the Huduma centers. We are at every county, and we even want to expand. Just the other day, we opened an office at Kariobangi, and we want to go even to downtown, is it Mudhurwa, near there. We just want to go to the grassroots,
yes,
be present, and tell the informal taxpayer, we are here for you to educate you so that you just pay what you should pay. And actually, we shall refund any person who pays more than they
who's been overcharged.
Maybe in error. To talk about corruption again, it takes two to tango.
True.
I think it's wrong for a Kenyan who gave money to keep saying KRA is corrupt. And it's not only KRA that takes money. We know everywhere, police and...
Actually, one caller said, you guys, you take. It's not like we pay willingly.
Yes, but it should be the other way. Every Kenyan should run during the due date to pay their taxes. But if they don't pay, like through the pay system, it is deducted.
Okay.
Because we realized we pay. Like, for example, we have a number of employees, and I may not mention, but there are some foreign bodies, like embassies, who are not under obligation to withhold pay.
Yes.
So they give the full pay to their employees, the Kenyans.
Yes.
The question is, do they come and pay? So I think there was so much difficulty giving Mrs. Jage her full pay and expect Mrs. Jage to go and pay the pay. We wouldn't get it. That's why we locked that money. We have another way of locking the monies through the withholding taxes. We have VAT withholding, we have income tax withholding, rental income withholding. That's a way of locking the tax.
Okay.
So that we know Bovi transacted with so-and-so, and we'll get you through the withholding.
All right.
Just a 2%, then we'll be able to come for you with the information, and we'll let you pay the balance.
Speaking of withholding tax, especially for artists, so once it's 5% usually, I think. So after the 5%, you will come for some other tax?
There's some withholdings that are final. Others are just a way of knowing.
Yawasani ni final, your 5%.
Let me not comment about what.
Generally, withholding tax
Patrick.
is intended to capture the fact that there's a tax that you'll account for later.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the meaning of withholding. So if you pay 5%, and supposing you're supposed to pay 30, you'll come at the end of the year to account for the balance.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Ben Omol. Thank you very much, Judith. Thank you very much, Patrick. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have. Fellow taxpayers, have you been paying your taxes diligently?
Yes.
Are you saying that because Judith is here?
I am a law-abiding citizen. Judith even knows me. I even stuck in myself when it's time to start remitting. I'm like, I need help. I'm not one of those people who's ashamed to say so.
Jeff Motta actually has an accountant who does all his taxes for him.
Let me tell you, I realized this thing. You know, you think it's something small until the one time you asked for a compliance certificate. And you go back and you're like, oh my goodness, how did this snowball into this fine that I'm supposed to pay?
Right.
Happened once, I had to go there all the way up KRA times towers. I'm not going back there for that. Labda need to a chai, but not for that.
All right. Unfortunately, we've come to the end of the show. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for your calls. Now, in case you need to get in touch with any of these individuals, kindly let us know through our various social media handles, and we shall definitely put you in touch. Otherwise, until tomorrow, Mazi. It's been real.
Bye-bye. Of course, we are done. The Daily Brief up next. We await the BBI report being handed over to the President and the former PM today. Then from there, the official launch tomorrow. The Daily Brief has all of that with Shiksha Arora right after this morning.